All right, let's do some pseudo coding here. First of all, we're going to be creating a random Star Wars generator using an API. So let's go ahead and find an API. So let's do Star Wars API. Not data GitHub. And we can go to swappy.dev. Swappy.co doesn't exist anymore. There's also swappy.tech if you want to. This is the Star Wars API, Swappy. And anytime you go to https swappy.dev/API/people/1, for instance, it's going to give you information on Luke Skywalker. So let's go ahead and type this into our URL just to make sure that this works. /API/people/1. And here we can see this is what it's going to end up returning for us. Now the styling's a little weird because there's like white text on a light gray background, but this is the JSON that we're going to get back. And so let's go ahead and add a name, height. Let's add a homeworld URL and the films that this character is in. So we're going to do a little bit of pseudo coding here. We're just going to set ourselves up for success. So we're going to create a div, which is going to be our container for all of our code. Then in here, we're going to have a name. And then what did I say we were going to add? A height. Let's maybe add that height in centimeters. Homeworld is some sort of homeworld. We don't know yet, so that's going to be a URL. That's going to be a link. And then P, maybe let's not do a P. Let's do UL, an unordered list, with an LI, just as an example, not an LU, but an LI. Films in here. And this is going to look pretty terrible, but this is going to work for us at least. So it says name, height. This is all text aligned left. Let's go ahead and change that. I changed that at the very beginning. Index.css. Nope. It was in app.css. Text align. Let's get rid of that because it's not doing anything. Text align center. You can see that it recompiled down here. There we go. It's centered. Oh, last but not least, we also need some sort of button in here, because how are we going to randomly generate a character without a button? So let's go ahead and add a big old button in there. So we type button, and this is just HTML. Type is going to be a regular button. Class is going to have some sort of class name. We can add a class just called btn, button, I guess. And this is going to say randomize character. Okay, we have a little button in there. Let's go ahead and make that button bigger by opening our app.css. And I'm just going to scroll to the bottom and type in .btn, because that matches the class name. This is just CSS here, so not that file. But the class name here, so it says regular CSS. And I actually made a mistake. It's not class, it's class name is equal to btn. And we have a class in here called btn. Let's change the background color to black. Border, 1 pixel, solid. Black. No. Let's do yellow. Text color is going to be yellow as well. Padding is going to be 20 pixels all over the place. And the font size is going to be much larger. Let's make this 25 pixels and save. Wait for it to compile. Randomize character. So this is a button that's actually doable. We have an error in here though. Class, did you mean class name? Let's go ahead and refresh. And that was just an error from the last compile. So I just refreshed and got rid of that error. So now we need to randomize this character, but we've pseudo-coded a little bit in here. And all we did was we said, hey, there's going to be a name, there's going to be a height in centimeters, there's going to be a homeworld as URL, and there's going to be films in here. So we're not actually doing any real JavaScript coding at the moment. We're just hashing this out. We're roughing out our code so that we know what to work with in the next lesson. What I'd like you to do is mirror me. I want you to do some pseudo coding. So if you don't want to use the Swappy API, this one here, if you don't want to use Star Wars, there's another one called a Pokemon API. You just have to Google it. It'll give you basically a very similar looking site with very similar data structures. But I'm going to be using the Star Wars one, and I want to get the name of a character, the height, homeworld, and the films. And that's what we're going to start doing from the next lesson forward. So go ahead, mimic me, and when you're ready, let's head on over to that next lesson.